Okay. It is 5:34, so we will be calling the Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 Human Relations Commission meeting to order. Could we get a roll call?
Shalini Smith.
Here.
Peter Resnick.
Here.
Greg Schroeder.
Here.
Vahagan Shiflikan.
Here.
Jerry Fry.
Here.
Ann Panthen.
Here. Thank you. Do we have any additions to the agenda? No? All right, approval of minutes for July 16, 2024. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, public input.
Copies. Yeah, please. You're a member of the commission too, or? No. Okay. Of the commission.
Thank you. Okay,
Are we timed? I didn't know.
5 minutes.
Before I started, I wanted to say that. Before I start, I wanted to say that we have members of the Carver Park neighborhood, and one of them is standing with me.
Okay.
And I understand from the rules, we're not trying to split the time or anything like that.
Okay.
We're just representing a neighborhood group. And we
Okay.
have people who are sitting outside in the audience as well. So,
Okay. So could we get your name?
Yes, ma'am. Melinda Carr, known as Eldris, our pastor, but Melinda Carr. I'm
Okay.
signed as one of the
Okay.
people on the letter that we're getting ready to read. And there are
Okay.
3 other signatures, and then we have additional signatures. So we're coming as the 4 people who are signed on the second page.
Yes.
That's me. This is Jackie Curry, and then there, Deborah Roberts is not here. But
Okay.
She's signed, so I'm just identifying the people on that second page
Okay.
for the record. August 20th, 2024. City of Urbana Human Relations Commission, 400 South Vine Street, Urbana, Illinois. To whom it may concern, we are here today to file a formal complaint, 4 pages, with the Urbana Human Relations Commission for what we believe is the City of Urbana's discriminatory practices according to the Urbana Human Rights Ordinance, Chapter 12 of the City Code, Article 3, Division 1, Section 1237. Residents of Carver Park, a Champaign subdivision, and surrounding neighborhoods of both Urbana and Champaign learned of a project named Hope Village to build 30 tiny homes for the medically fragile and homeless population, which is a necessary and noble project. But after understanding the objectives of this project and lack of involvement in the preliminary planning process, they took their concerns to the governing bodies of Urbana and Champaign and presented information which included petitions, letters, and documents stating their concerns over the project's traffic being routed through a small, historically African-American neighborhood, restricted covenants with families, children, and elderly residents. The community asked a reputable designer to draw up alternative plans to alleviate this concern, but was quickly dismissed without consideration. A final vote was taken by the Urbana City Council on January 2nd, 2024. Both the City of Urbana and City of Champaign are involved in what appears to be legal oppression in their fiduciary responsibilities to address the concerns of neighboring residents of Carver Park, a small, historically African-American neighborhood, Champaign Division, and surrounding neighborhoods of both Urbana and Champaign. Following a brief points of concern which can be supported with the January 2nd, 2024 video of the City Council Committee of the Whole meeting. There's a link there. The July 8th, 2024 letter from Professor Richard Painter and additional documentation if necessary. 1, increase in the following: vehicle traffic, emergency vehicle traffic, foot traffic, and noise pollution. 2, location of the retention pond and existing drainage infrastructure issues. 3, building of tax-exempted structures with no economic support. 4, a rise in property taxes and property value to diminish further. 5, no community involvement in the planning process. Lack of representation in the planning process for the Carver Park subdivision and other neighboring residents who live to the south of the development and whose living will be negatively impacted by the development. 6, uncertainty of future development of Hope Village and uncertainty concerning the programming to operate Hope Village. 7, the changing of the address of Hope Village to, quote, no address. In a recent application to the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the City of Urbana refused to recognize the original address applied to that plot of land and negated 1799 Federal Drive to eliminate the original address they identified in the site selection process. 8, Planning Commissioner stated publicly, the plan was a mess. 9, private property is not government property. 10, who will guarantee the safety of residents? The City of Urbana, Illinois, adopted resolution number 2021-02005R, a resolution committing to end structural racism and achieve racial equity, approved 2/8/2021. Whereas in order for our community to heal and achieve racial equality, it is necessary to recognize and confront the history of injustice. Yet, this housing development will impact the safety and well-being of the surrounding community, which is total disrespect to the highest level, hurting one group of people to benefit another group. Best regards, and we have the signatures here. Deborah Roberts, who is not here in person, Jacqueline Curry here, Leroy D., myself, Melinda Carr, interim president of North End United.
Thank you very much. Is there any other persons wishing to address the commission?
Good evening. My name is Marion Harrington, and I live in the Crispus Attic subdivision. To make things short, this project was dropped on our lap. There were 17 other locations that this project could have been put at, but they chose not to do it. So instead of getting with the neighborhood and presenting this to the neighborhood, they went ahead, bought the land, and started the project, and then tell us what they're going to do in our neighborhood. No involvement and nothing to be done about it. So we got together and decided that we weren't going to just take that laying down. So in a nutshell, we're not against the project. We're not against the homeless. We just don't want this project accessed through our neighborhood. And that's all we're pretty much asking. But nobody seems to want to listen to us. They keep on, and they're pursuing the project, and they're going to let the project. It's going to be increased foot traffic. It's going to increase vehicle traffic. And if you've ever been up in Carver Drive, you need to take a look at and see what they're trying to do to us. And it's just not feasible. So we're just asking if we could just be heard and not access our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Yes. Yes, thank you very much for that.
My name's Leroy D., and I live right there where everything's happening. And all I can say is that, you know, I raised my kids there. It was dead end. They played everything, you know, and the kids are out there now playing. And with emergency vehicles coming through there and stuff, you know, kids could be out there playing with the ball or whatever. I just think Hope Village needs their own entryway, you know, and like everyone's saying, we're not against it. We just don't have the foot traffic and all the cars coming through and everything. My grandson catches the bus, you know, through there. The bus can't even get down that far because of the small drive that they got. So I have to walk my grandson to the, you know, corner so the bus can get around there. And then they're talking about more traffic with this going on. And, you know, and they're not doing anything basically to help us or the streets. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, the Human Relations Commission Chair and members and staff. I'm Reverend Dr. Evelyn Underwood, and my question is this taped? Is this taped?
Yes.
Video? Okay, I just want to make sure that it's taped for the record. So this will be on the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
It'll be posted onto the website as usual, like the council meetings.
Anyone else? No? Thank you very much for coming and speaking to us. And also thank you for the handout.
Just because this was filed as a complaint, and I believe this goes under 1222G, which
Okay.
is a complaint against the city, we should handle that next meeting
Yes.
as we would.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're right. Let me ask one question. Ms. Carr? Ms. Carr, would you be the person that we would communicate with going forward about your complaint? Since there are 4 names on here, can we assume that you're the person, main contact person? Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And we have email addresses? No. Do we need them? We have phone numbers. We have phone numbers. Okay. All right.
I think there's addresses on the 3rd page
Yes.
and email, so you
Yes.
may have them.
Yes, you're right. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, we're moving on to unfinished business. Change to the process for automatic EEO certifications. Pete, was that you? No?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think our last meeting, we talked about what would be the process, and so the office would kind of go back and investigate what you would need to do in order to make that recommendation complete. And so after review of the ordinance, the policy and procedure manual, and the city code, chapter 2, it was found that there is no specific dictate that the commission must follow to vote on a procedure. So the OHR, the Office of Human Rights and Equity, is recommending that the commission pass a motion that during the meeting, the chair will simply acknowledge receipt of the applications from contractors or vendors that have 14 employees or less.
Okay. Yes, please, sorry.
I'll move as stated by the
Officer.
officer.
I'll second.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we get to do it. So under new business, the first one is acceptance of automatic EEO certification. So it may be a omnibus kind of thing.
Actually, ma'am, with that pass, you can simply read the ones.
Automatic.
Automatic, okay. So, Michael Scott and Associates and Resource Management Associates are both 14 and under, and they are approved. All right, so then we have the bigger packet. Does someone want to make a motion that we can consider these all together, please?
I would make a motion that we consider them as approvable. I found no objections to any of them personally.
Okay, so let's, so make your motion and read each one,
Okay,
and then the time that, yes, that
Oh,
we're
okay.
approving them for.
all right. So that would be Cross Construction, Inc. for a 1-year period of time. No. Let me start over, please. A
Yes.
motion for
Yes.
Altorfer, Inc. And I don't see 2 years, for a period of 2 years. Aaron's Hogan Walker, known as AHW LLC, for a period of 2 years. Cross Construction, Inc., for a period of 2 years. Farnsworth Group, 2 years. Hoyt's Contractors, Inc., 2 years. Graybar Electric Company, Inc., 2 years. Johnson Controls Fire Protection, LP, 2 years. Key Equipment and Supply Company, 2 years. LexisNexis CopLogic Solutions, Inc., 2 years. MTI Distributing, Inc., 1 year. And Schaumburg and Schaumburg Construction, Inc., 2 years.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Pete?
So there are a couple on here, and I understand why staff made the recommendations, but I'm thinking about folks who either their good faith efforts are just being implemented, right, because it's been a year and they said, okay, we've got these new programs, or the numbers are coming along, but they're not there yet.
Yes.
In particular, I think Altorfer, and it's a small, population, the company, but they've got no African-American employees, and just 3 Hispanic employees, where the population is 10% African-American. The other 2 that I was looking at were Farnsworth, where their numbers are also quite low, and Schaumburg. And again, some of these folks have made progress, Some of them haven't made progress. But they're just getting started. And I don't feel comfortable about the 2 years kind of being seen as we approve of where it's at. So I'm wondering is staff okay with sending a letter saying, we're approving for 1 year, glad to see you're doing these good faith efforts, but we want to monitor it and we'll see what your numbers are like next year. I guess the question is, how much additional work is it for you all to do that, to make it 1 year instead of 2?
It's no additional
No big deal.
big deal. Whatever
Okay.
you guys, we will send that. If you say with this caveat, we will do that.
So I'd like to make a friendly amendment if the mover and the seconder would agree for Altifor, for Farnsworth, and for Schaumburg in particular, to make them 1 year with such a letter. Is that okay with both of you?
It's fine with me.
Yeah, it's fine for me too. And I'd just like to add another thing, that it's very important that these companies are conducting business in our community and in general, like when they are conducting business to support the business in small communities. But at the same time, it's very important, as you said, to maintain diversified workforce. So it will be very helpful for us and for them too, to encourage them to work on the issue of making their workforce more diversified. Thank you.
And we've been talking with the vendors, and they are working towards it, but there are some extenuating concerns that why their numbers aren't growing, which is why we gave the 2 years, because we've asked them to do things and they have done them. And as for staff, we couldn't see continually dinging someone for doing what we've asked them to do, but because we don't like the results that they're getting right now, that we continue to say, no, no, that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I totally understand, but also when we are looking at the numerical data, for example, if a company has 583 employees, from which 513 are just like representative of like white demographics, so it's a little bit concerning, because especially when they are conducting business in Urbana, where the like general population is not very high, just like 19,000 from general population is only 19,000 are representative of white demographics. So it becomes a little bit concerning regarding representatives of other demographics from the, yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, the demographics that you're looking at the entire population. That's not the working population, that's the entire population of a community. So if you would like, we could break it down to 16 or 19 and above to give an accurate number of available workforce. That might explain a little bit more of it, or give you a better idea of who's actually in the workforce. And a lot of them have a very strong workforce where many of their available workforce is working. And so it's trying to balance who's available and versus, you know, the industry with someone going into that industry. Some of them are very specific, like engineering. It's a very specific industry.
Yeah, I totally agree, because there can be like objective reasons too. Maybe they have like openings, but people do not apply for the job. So it can be a reason too, right?
It could be.
And Pete, you called out a couple of the businesses with the good faith effort.
Right.
But there are, what are there, 6? I think 6 good
And
faith effort updates.
Right. So the one that in particular that I thought was, you know, just striking in terms of the numbers, but I didn't call out, was Aaron's Hogan Walker. And the reason I didn't do that one is if you take a look at their hiring over the last year, they've had 106 separations and lost 1 minority worker, but when they did the hires, they had 127 new hires and 6 minority workers, only 4%, not great, but it's clear that they are doing,
Right.
they are trying to make progress.
Right, right.
Whereas the others really, it hasn't kicked in yet.
Sure.
So for instance, Altifor, if you read through their good faith efforts, well, we've just implemented this, or we're gonna try and implement that. And again, I mean, I don't want them to view this as a ding, like, oh, we don't accept this. But I do wanna say, you know, we're glad that you're making these efforts. We're gonna monitor next year to see how they're going and make sure that you're moving along before we give them the full 2-year, you know, before they come back before us.
Yes, okay, I understand. I would support that 1 year for those 2 companies. And then just go in with the 2 years for the others.
3 companies.
3 companies, 3, sorry. Oh, and I had a question. It's really just, there's a sentence typed on one of these employment information, page 36. And I think it's, Altifor, I think it might be Altifor. I didn't print. This part.
That's representing which company, please?
Well, that's what I'm not sure. I printed the page, Altifor.
Altifor, thank you.
So on their employment information, which is the total contractor vendor workforce, there's, right at the bottom in the text box, it says the data extract is from our current federal affirmative action programs. What does that mean, do you think?
What I think it is that they are required to submit reports on their workforce and the demographics of their workforce. And I believe that's where they're pulling that from, because they are construction, and so they have workers that come and go. And so they were trying to get an accurate account of who they have, who they've paid.
Okay. Because it makes it sound like they don't keep track, but they have some federal person keeping track. But that can't be true, I suppose.
We could ask.
You could. I don't know, it struck me as kind of just a weird sentence to put in there rather than just leaving it. So maybe if you think of it, maybe we could ask what they're trying to say there.
You can ask.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions about, no? So we've had a motion and a second and then a friendly amendment to put those 3 companies into a 1-year rather than a 2-year. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The report of officers.
Okay. Last month, I reported that we had 1 active complaint. It is near the point of being closed. I've sent that to the city attorney for review. And then once he signs off on it, then I'll sign off on it, and then it will be sent to both parties. The office did receive 1 new employment complaint based on race, and so we are at the beginnings of that. The complainant will come in and sign the complaint, and then once they sign the complaint, then we move forward with the investigation. For informal complaints or contacts, 1 person was terminated from employment and believed they were wrongfully terminated. The employer is located in Danville, so there's no jurisdiction for Urbana. Referred the caller to the City of Danville's Human Relations Office. Received a call concerning harassment between neighbors. The caller did not believe that the harassment was based on a protected class, but was seeking suggestions on how to move forward. And so I asked if, because it's a condo association, and so I asked if they had any bylaws or any contracts with their association, and to look there to see how they would handle any disputes between neighbors. She also, she shared that she had gotten advice from other entities, and she was going to also pursue those options. For the office activity, the office supported the neighborhood night held on July 24th at Southridge Park. I believe Tom attended that one. Well, I know he did, because I didn't. I attended the Age-Friendly Steering Committee of Champaign-Urbana meeting. Their focus is providing services, programs, and engagement opportunities for area seniors. And I will also be presenting to the group this Thursday about the Office of Human Rights and Equity. I staffed a table at the Market on the Square, recruiting for new commission and board members. There's one more volunteer opportunity for staffing a table on Saturday, September 7th. And any commissioner that would like to join, please feel free to join us. I've done 2 so far, and we do get a lot of foot traffic at our table and a lot of conversations. Now we're trying to push them to go that next step and to complete the application and submit it. And then I also I presented to the city leadership on developing a racial equity plan for the city of Urbana. A racial equity plan provides a framework to examine our systems, policies, practice, habits, and culture through a racial equity lens. That is a part of the council strategic goals. Those are one of the things that they put in there. And so we are at the beginnings of getting that process started. And so I presented to the leadership what the equity plan actually is. And then as we move forward, I can see opportunity for this group to participate in that. I attended the annual conference on the International Association of Official Human Rights Agencies, August 11th through the 15th. The theme for the event was creating a human rights culture. There were representatives from federal, state, and local human rights offices, community organizations, and agencies in attendance. Had a lot of great information, a lot of sobering information, but more importantly, a lot of resources that I've already started downloading and reaching out to. And that is the end of my report.
Okay. Yes, Pete.
And to the extent that you can with your confidentiality requirements, on the harassment report that you got, was it sexual harassment or just general harassment?
It was general.
Okay.
They are not getting along.
That's why I asked. Just wanted to make sure.
All right, thank you, Carla. So, announcements. This commission has openings.
And now one more.
So, Greg this is his last meeting, which is why we had the cookies. And how long have you been on the commission? About?
Roughly 2 years, 9 months, 10 months.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for your service, and of course, invite you back anytime you find that your circumstances have changed. And we're also suggesting that you find your own replacement. So, go ahead.
Get out there and bug people.
Duly noted.
Yeah. Yeah? So honestly, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Yes. The next scheduled meeting for everyone but Greg is Tuesday, September 17th at 5:30 p.m. Is there anything else today? No? All right, this meeting is adjourned.